Were you worried about him during that siege? Were you worried about his safety?
No, I thought he was well protected, and I had heard that he was in good shape. Mm-hmm. No, because I had heard he was in very good shape. But no.
You heard those chants. That was terrible. I mean,
he could have. Well, the people were very angry.
They're saying, "Hang Mike
Pence."
Because
it's common sense, John. It's common sense that you're supposed to protect. How can you, if you know a vote is fraudulent, right? Yeah. How can you pass on a fraudulent vote to Congress?
That amazing audio that you just heard is journalist Jonathan Karl speaking with Donald Trump in March. So less than 2 months after the insurrection on January 6th. And Donald Trump asked about the fact that some of his followers were attempting to assassinate the vice president, said he was fine. And then when pressed to denounce the "Hang Mike Pence" chants, he instead said, they've got a point, it's common sense. If the vote is fraudulent and you can overturn it, neither of which are true, but he believes both are true, well then obviously you're gonna wanna murder the guy that refused to do it.
Yeah, guys, there's two elements of this. The one that you're familiar with about the BS idea that Pence could have overturned the election, and we'll come back to that in a second. But the way more relevant part here is they were looking to murder your vice president. That's what hanging means, okay? They were gonna hang Mike Pence. Well, not like a hanging Chad, but like a hanging person, as in executed, right? And he says, well, people were very angry. So he didn't condemn it at all, not one sentence, not one word. You heard it, there's the tape, right? And he said people were very angry as if it was justified. And then he went on to explain why they were angry and further justify wanting to murder his own vice president. At no point did he say, oh my God, that's just atrocious. Of course I didn't intend that. Of course nobody intended that. Of course, just any word of like, well, it would have been a shame if they had actually put a noose around his neck and strangled him with it until he was dead. That would have been a shame, right? Mm-hmm. No, none of that, no remorse. And look, if you disagree with me, maybe murder is the right avenue to go down. That is unbelievable. That's unbelievable for almost anyone in a position of power in this country, let alone the former president of the United States talking about his own vice president. Now I'm gonna come back to why his whole idea that the Pence could have done something is so absurd. If you've never heard that argument, I just need to explain that to you a little bit later. But first, Nina, your reaction.
I mean, with friends like Donald J. Trump, God knows you definitely don't need any enemies. The man is a selfish megalomaniac. That's just it. That is part of his personality, his character trait, which is flawed. It is his MO. And he has been very consistent, sickeningly so consistent that this is all about him. Me. Even as the people who stormed the Capitol threatened to kill, as you laid out, Cenk, his vice president. How the hell could you continue to be vice president for this man? I'm sure this is not the first time that Mr. Pence saw these tendencies from Mr. Trump, but my God, it don't get no more deeper than saying, well, if they hang them, they hang them.
Yeah, on our side, if you so much as say that somebody takes a corporate contribution, everybody lose their mind like it was like a nuclear attack or something, right? Mm-hmm. Well, we're just stating a simple fact about politics. On their side, they're like, murder, should we murder each other? Is that okay, not okay? And apparently the jury's in on, yeah, for Trump, he thinks it's totally okay. And so this is the kind of violence that they're heading towards that is very, very dangerous. And guys, it's not hyperbole. They asked him, they were chanting, hang Mike Pence, kill him.
Yeah.
And he did not have a problem with it. That's unreal. And think about it in your own context. Imagine if somebody said about your partner or someone you work with, hey, they were gonna murder him because they thought you wanted that. Like, they were gonna murder John because you thought that they wanted that. And then they came to me and they're like, well, how do you feel about that? I would feel very badly about it. I would feel awful, terrible. No, don't do that. Can you imagine if I was like, oh, I guess they were angry at John? What kind of a literal psycho?
Yeah.
A literal psycho would do that.
I told him we're gonna fit in one more story in the first hour, and he thought we should end early. It's common sense. You fit in one more story.
Common sense.
Yeah,
I mean, it's unthinkable in any other context. It's unthinkable in this context, most especially in this context. But I got to tell you, not the heart of this story. The heart of the story is apparently the guy that almost every Republican in the country looks up to, thinks murdering his political opponents is a fine idea, or certainly not one he objects to. Okay,
well, not even opponents,
right.
Supporters.
Yeah,
he
his
was
own vice president.
Yeah.
Theoretically, couldn't be any closer.
It's a new abnormal. It's a new abnormal in this Republican Party with Donald J. Trump.
So
and they cling to him. I mean, let's not forget this man got so many votes. Was it 74 million or so?
Yeah.
Guys. I mean, it's such a great line by Nina, the new abnormal. It's so true. I mean, guys, I hate to do this because even using the John analogy was uncomfortable, but I need to shake people out of their complacency. Like, oh, right-wing fascism is coming, no big deal. If Joe Biden had said, oh, well, people were angry at Kamala Harris. That's why they were looking to execute her. Everybody rightfully would lose their minds. Like, what in the world? Biden would not condemn his own supporters trying to murder Kamala Harris? It would be unthinkable times a million.
Yeah.
Trump does it, everyone's like, oh yeah, that's the new abnormal. No problem.
Yeah, you can't just casually threaten to kill a female politician and get away with it unless you're Paul Gosar. And then we just move on and it's apparently fine.
Well, that point, John, yeah.
There were so many crazy angles he could have gone on. He could have said, when Jonathan Karl's like, they said hang Mike Pence, he could have said, well, that was like one or two, doesn't represent them. Or he could have said, I don't believe it. Or he could have said, it was Antifa. He decided to agree with them. That is just maddening. There's a couple other interesting points of this. I'm curious what you think about a few of these. One is that, as we said, that interview was done back in March. We only are finding out about it now because Jonathan Karl's book Betrayal is about to come out. So again, he was sitting on that for about 6 months. Maybe it wouldn't have mattered. This is, as Nina says, the new abnormal. It probably wouldn't have mattered, but bear that in mind. In response to this revelation, a spokesperson for Pence declined to comment. They have nothing to say. And remember, I mean, this is worse than what Trump had previously said, I guess, on some level. It's in the same genre about Pence. And Pence has spoken favorably of him. Says, we sort of disagreed on whether I could unilaterally overturn election results, but I still look up to him. He's a great guy. He doesn't have anything to say about this after he agreed with the attempted assassins. And I just don't, there's literally nothing that he can do that will get them to turn on him. Like mocking your wife or whatever, saying that your father's an assassin or whatever, that, we moved past that years ago. But now threatening your life is not enough.
Yeah, so that's exactly what fascists do. It's not hyperbole. It is exactly what fascists do. They threaten to murder people they don't agree with, or they encourage their followers to murder them and talk about it in a positive way publicly. And guys, it's not, hey, oh, they were having a fun let's go Brandon chant at the ball game, right? No, it was hang Mike Pence, and they had brought nooses with them. It was a very real threat. Secret Service took it as a tremendous threat and barely got Pence out of the room. They missed him apparently by 1 to 2 minutes. Otherwise, they might have actually killed him. And by the way, if they had, right now, everybody would have said, oh, that's the new abnormal. No, that's okay. No, of course you're allowed to kill vice presidents because they make up rules, right? So can the vice president unilaterally ignore how the states voted and declare someone president? Right, Wayne, be careful in your answer. Be careful in your answer. Okay, so in reality, what it is the vice president in that role is a ceremonial role. He has no actual power, okay? It's in the Constitution, it's super clear. It's like throwing out the first pitch in the ball game, right? And Trump goes, oh, the guy throws out the first pitch, and then he didn't declare me the winner of the baseball game. What the hell, man? I should have won baseball. No, that's not how a ceremonial first pitch goes. And no, I don't care. Since he didn't declare me the winner, I want to execute the guy who threw the first pitch. That's insane. That's insane. Okay, now right-wingers are now mad at me. No, that's not insane. The vice president can definitely do that. Anytime he wants, just says, no, the other guy's president, right? Okay, great, the vice president now is Kamala Harris. I guess you could declare anyone president. She could declare me president. It doesn't matter. You just said there's no rules and that they have ultimate power in a democracy. We all vote, and then the vice president votes and says, I don't care about any of your votes. Voter one, I'll make anyone I like president. You really have to be maniacally stupid to believe that. Yeah. And if you do, thank you. I guess Democrats are going to be president forever.
I mean, some people are. And John, back to a point you were making that Pence has not said a word. I mean, one thing, I don't blame the man. Two things. I wish he would say something and stand up for himself and show that he got a little heart, but he hasn't. And then the other point is, he's probably too scared to say anything, because even if he spoke up now, even in the face of all the evidence, we rolled the tape or the audio tape, you could hear what President Trump had to say about his own vice president. The people who actually love and worship this man would probably still try to come at him. So he don't want none of that heat. Yeah. That's why there's no comment right now.
100% right, and that is exactly, again, how fascists win. Just, I swear to God, please read the history of Germany in the 1930s, okay? So a strong man arises, he gets vigilantes, they start threatening everybody in the streets. He publicly sanctions it, does not allow law enforcement to be used against them, but uses law enforcement in unfair ways against others. And then he starts to put away and then eventually kill his political opponents and his opponents in the media. And the whole time, can he do it? His own party capitulates to him completely, check, right? The other party is incredibly weak, check. And then the press can't figure out, fascist or not fascist, 50-50, I can't figure it out.
Yep.
And boom, they take advantage of the new abnormal and we're all screwed. It is not a hypothetical. We're right in the middle of it right now. Trump is definitely a fascist, definitely a fascist. And by the way, you see us, all three of us are very progressive. You see any corporate Democrat or moderate Democrat or establishment Democrat talking like this? No, we're the strongest fighters against fascism. We're the strongest fighters against Republicans. And the rest of the Democrats, stand up and fight already. Jesus Christ, what are you, Mike Pence? Stand up and fight. We can't let the fascists take over.
Yeah,
that's it. And fascists rising, because 2024 is going to be a doozy. And if it is not Donald J. Trump himself, it's going to be somebody made in his image. You best believe.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.